we'll bring in Chief White House correspondent James Rosen. I believe he's standing by the White House North Lawn. So the president made a few announcements there, James, you were listening to. Bottom line, more money, more aid, banning of Russian ships. But he also talked about it's questionable whether Russia controls Mariupol and that there's no evidence of that. Talk to me about what you've heard.
Sean, the precise words the president used was that there's no evidence that Mariupol has completely fallen into Russian hands. But we all know, and the Ukrainians have been very forthright in acknowledging that control of Mariupol is just not long from falling into Russian hands. What was also interesting about the president's comments is that he had said that with this latest security package of $800 million, following on last week's security package of $800 million, which will, by the way, mean more howitzer long-range artillery weapons for the Ukrainians, more drones, and thousands more rounds of ammunition for the Ukrainian armed forces. The president said he has almost exhausted his drawdown authority of $3.5 billion for this year that Congress appropriated for this purpose in a bipartisan measure earlier this year, so that next week the president's going to have to send to lawmakers a supplemental request for more funding for Ukraine just to be able to sustain this continued security assistance by the United States for the remainder of this war. That is unknown how long it's going to last, and with this new offensive in the Donbass, all U.S. officials are saying it's going to be a protracted conflict. So we will be paying more as taxpayers to support the Ukrainian army, and we will be sending them more security assistance in the coming weeks and months. Sean.
Yeah, Chief White House correspondent James Rosen live at the North Lawn. They're talking about Congress. I actually, thank you very much, James. I actually have a congressman now to join us from Georgia, Rick Allen. Congressman, good to see you. If I can get your reaction here, you just heard the President of the United States. They're talking about sending essentially $800 million in military aid, $500 million in economic aid as well. But he's going to need Congress to act. He's already spent $1 billion, he said, this in the past 2 months here. And there was a very good question by a reporter that said, how long can the United States have this capacity to continue to send this type of money to Ukraine? What are your thoughts?
Well, certainly the whole world admires the resolve and the courage of the Ukrainian people. And, certainly, I believe this could have been prevented. Obviously, we opened the door, or this administration opened the door for Putin to do this, and I think Putin stepped in it, to be honest with you. But what this administration is not telling the American people is the pain and suffering that the American people are going to incur because of the policies that this administration set forth as far as energy production. Unless, I don't know if the president has read the Wall Street Journal in the last week, but right now there's a shortage of natural gas. And natural gas prices are skyrocketing. Well, that's going to cost the American people more each day to live. And of course, when you have oil's in everything. So we're going to see more inflation as a result of what Putin is doing over there. And but certainly we need to support the Ukrainian people. But let me tell you, there are going to be economic repercussions in this country, and particularly from the standpoint of trade and other things and products that we buy. And of course, consumer confidence. Our economy is all about confidence, and we don't have leadership in Washington. This president is not providing the kind of confidence the American people need to invest and move forward. We must unleash this economy immediately.
Congressman, I got about 30 seconds for you on this. Obviously, we're going to hear lawmakers like yourself say we need to continue to send aid, and obviously many Americans feel that way as well. But as you pointed out, Americans are facing inflation, high gas prices, wages not matching up with inflation. They want to know when their break is coming. They want to know when they don't have to get mask mandated anymore. They want to know when this border is going to become under control, which clearly it is not at this time. When will this administration step up and start talking about these issues that are happening here in America? I'll close with that.
This administration seems to be doubling down. on everything. I mean, you saw what they did as far as the restrictions of the infrastructure bill. I mean, we're not going to build any roads or bridges. I mean, every agency is doubling down on small business. They're doing everything they can to destroy this economy. The only way we get out of this is to unleash this economic growth like we did just, 4 years ago. And Congress did that. And unless Congress wakes up and unleashes the potential of this country, there are going to be some difficult days ahead.
All right, Congressman Rick Allen joining us live here. Congressman, apologize for the breaking news. I know we were going to talk about something completely different, but thank you for pivoting with us. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.